For today. The plan is to do 10 to 15 miles. We have Cohen on the Ventus One. I'm going to be riding the E-Ride 3.0. Then about 5-7 miles in, we're going to switch bikes and we're going to kind of give an analysis. I will have the camera on my helmet. I will be talking through how the bikes are performing as they're performing, and then we will just give you our general consensus of which bike we prefer on the trail. This Ventus One is slightly modified with the Nibby components. This is all factory except for the bars, the pegs, the drop bracket, and that is all we have done to this bike so far. So enough talking, let's hit the trail. All right, so we are both starting at 88% battery because it's about 3 miles to get up here. I did this trail recently on my Ultra B, and the whole loop is 25 miles. We won't get a chance to do the whole loop today, but it is very rocky and very rough. This is a perfect chance to test the Nibby components to see how they do. We also have 12 PSI in our front tire and about 13 or 14 PSI in our rear tire. And you'll see what I mean. This trail is much more difficult than what most people would probably ride, but that is the point to bringing these bikes up here, is because we really want to test the suspension against these huge rock and boulder fields. Oof, that was a little bit rougher than what I expected. Now coming back out, we're gonna have to go up this section, which is pretty brutal. Oh my God. Oh, geez. How in the heck did we get down this last time? This is so ridiculous. We're taking separate lines here, but whoa. Jeez. All right, so here's what I will say about the 3.0, and it has to do with the tires. When we originally got this bike, I absolutely hated the tires. I'm really used to and comfortable on a more knobbier, meatier, aggressive tire that's built for the track style riding. So this tire obviously is nothing like that. But out here in this terrain, minus the few sandy sections, it hooks up so well. And I'm really happy with it. All right, so this is the mid-talk ride. I think this is an important part because this is where we switch bikes. And I want to talk a few things about the E-Ride Pro 3.0. The upgraded fast Ace forks are so good. I know I've said it while I was riding, but I need to say it again. I hate doing this stuff on small bikes. I do not feel like I'm on a small bike. It feels like a big bike. I am not excited to get on the Ventus One because I can already tell Cohen's not entirely my size, but he looks cramped on it. So I know I'm going to be cramped on it. And I think a lot of that has to do with just simply the drop pegs. So it's not a fair comparison. But I'm excited to hear what he says about the 3.0 because he rides a 2.0. We just put the new Arfloxa suspension on his 2.0, which we'll be doing a review video about that after he puts some time on it. But this bike is performing so well in these conditions. And I know a lot of people may not ride these style of conditions, but it is incredible to just take a bike out of the box, factory tires, chain, sprocket, all of that, and bring it out here and ride the style of trails that we are riding. The fact that they can do it without braking is incredible. So I'm gonna hop on the Ventus. You, please take care of my baby, okay? And we're gonna go back down here and we'll do another comparison and tell you what we think once we get to the bottom. So the thing about the Ventus is the controller and the app on this bike are really incredible. The amount of control you have over what your bike does and when is far and above what anybody else has, unless you get an aftermarket EBMX controller. The controllability makes things, oh jeez, I couldn't even see that, makes things really nice. And I think for anybody who's trying to control their power, you know, that's obviously important. We have 3 modes on this. I don't have the specs on what our modes are, but this D1 is very similar to Eco on other bikes, but it feels less powerful than Eco on other bikes. Now the handlebars on here are more of a mountain bike style bar. They are much wider than what I'm used to. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't hate it. It kind of feels good having a wider bar. The suspension components seem good. Like, I don't really have any beef other than the drop pegs. Now granted, I haven't done any of the hard rocks yet, so maybe that'll change. But as of now, everything seems pretty sturdy. All right, so here's an actual boulder field section, and I cannot go nearly as fast on this bike. And I'm gonna go on a limb and say I've been hitting the skid plate. I don't think this bike is as tall. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh, that was a nice hit. It did pretty well. I'm surprised by that. I thought I was going to hear some clanking. So that little section right there would have been a little bit difficult in the 3.0 because of the tires. That was really kind of dusty and dirt, and these tires soaked it up. And these are the tires that come factory on this bike. So there's no aftermarket. Oh geez.
and especially on this uphill section, is when you really feel the wind. You gotta keep your momentum. Oh. So like that whole way up, I was holding on with my hands, obviously, but really gripping because I have nothing here. So not my favorite. Okay, ending the night after that nice, that super cool climb. So almost 5 miles on the Ventus, and the only complaint that I have, nothing about the suspension or the components, not even the mountain bike style bars that are a lot wider than your regular bars. Everything on this bike I like. It performed really well. From a preference perspective, I would prefer my 3.0 and not the Ventus One, because I could care less about all that crazy power. This is gonna get gnarly. Oh man. Oh man. This is such a hard section. But that's why it's the torture test. Can they do it? And the question is, yes, they can. The question you gotta ask yourself is, can you do it? Holy crap. No.
I fell, and the bike almost landed on top of me.
That's okay if it lands on top of you.
Huh?
As long as the bike doesn't get hurt. Just kidding.
Sorry.
That part was hard. That's
The
a really hard part, and this is the most raw enduro video that could ever be made. Like this is this is hard. All right, we're losing daylight. Go ahead.
Right like that headlight.
I love it, and that's a good point. I think it's something to mention. The Ventus One headlight is so good. I mean, I can't even explain. Like it probably looks like daytime in front of this thing, because that's what it feels like when you're riding, especially your street riders. I mean, trail too, but if you're riding street, a good headlight cannot be overstated. And this one is the best. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the hard enduro torture test is complete. Now let's talk about this really quick because it's getting dark and I did not expect to be in this situation tonight. So, the Ventus One, in my opinion, I don't know how you feel, it's not my favorite bike on the trail, but I don't believe it's a fair comparison because I don't have the drop pegs. I don't mind the wide bars. Do you mind the wide bars?
Yes, very.
You don't like them?
No, I do not like them.
I don't mind them at all. I don't like how little the rise is. That is not my favorite thing. He likes a low bar. I prefer a high bar just in general. I have a bar riser on my Ultra B. On his 125, they're directly to the triple clamp. He has no bar riser, so he likes his bars low. Let's talk about the nibby components. I'm actually really impressed. I still think the Fast Ace performs better.
Yeah.
They're wider, they're thicker, they're more durable. It feels more planted. Both 72 volt, 50 amp hour batteries. We rode these in essentially eco mode all day long. I keep looking at you instead of the camera. And let's be honest, we have, what do we have here? Oh, hold on, let me see. Where's my battery? 80%. What battery are you at?
67.
67. How long have you been in sport mode?
I haven't.
You haven't? Wow, that's weird. I wonder if, I mean, that's a big difference. That's a huge difference. That's 13% of battery on the same size battery. This has 13% more. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the controller. Maybe it's the way the throttle delivers the power, because in my opinion, that throttle is snappier.
I like this throttle better than that one.
That throttle, right? This throttle rolls on really slow, and D1 is not enough. I need more than D1, but I don't need D2.
I don't think
I need
so.
somewhere in the middle of that.
I like D1 a lot.
You like D1 a lot? What about Eco on this bike? I feel is absolutely perfect for this terrain.
Oh yeah.
You don't need to touch it. Like, you don't need to adjust the curves. You don't need to adjust how the throttle rolls on. That throttle is perfect. So all that said, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, and I want to get home before it's pitch black. But the Ventus One is a great bike. The E-Ride Pro 3.0 is cheaper, and I think it's a better bike.
Yeah.
Now, the Nibby components, fantastic. No beef with them whatsoever. Tell me what you got.
So like, if I do like 2 clicks on the fast taste ones on the 3.0, I can really tell a difference. But I click that one like 4, and I could barely tell a difference in between the softness and the stiffness of the.
Okay, that's good to know. I put more compression back in the forks because I'm heavier, and it felt good. I'm going to be honest, like, I could definitely dial it in better, but where it's at right now is totally rideable. I mean, we did that super hard stuff, and this bike did it all. So that's our analysis. If you care, I hope you care. I hope it was helpful. I hope you enjoyed some of the antics, and we're going to get home before Mom kills us and get some dinner. We'll see you guys on the next one.